ask you, this is just a personal question. You know, I'm holding the phone in front of you.
Yeah.
And you should imagine that I'm interviewing somebody with a respectable view. Oh, yeah, oh, good. Do you think that the gap is narrowing between these cameras and the...
It's not as narrowing as much as it should. I was actually filming all day with the iPhone 13. Haven't got the 14 yet. Yesterday, the Pro Max, for a video about some filters for it.
Yeah.
The image looked really good on the phone.
Yeah.
Brought it into the computer and went. It's so over-processed. Yeah. Over-sharpened, and it just, I mean, even the ProRes looks the same. And I'm like, I've got a Sony Xperia Pro I, which is a much less processed image, which is good. But you look at the bokeh and think, oh, it looks nice on the phone. Then you look at it on your computer, and it's like an oil painting. Yeah. So I'm doing, in my talk, I'm talking about some software. I'm talking about all the really important pieces of gear that I use, which most people don't know about. But I'm also talking about a piece of software which fixes a lot of the stuff. But I don't want to yet. I know I have ordered the 14 Pro Max. I'm like, should I have done it? Because it's got the same issues. Yeah. It looks fine on your phone, fine for social media, but when you need to cut it into footage, it's really difficult.
I find it so annoying because the same. This is a 13. The thing is that unless you go into cinematic mode, then you start to see things happening. But when you just go into plain video 4K, everything is too sharp. It's just like
And then the cinematic mode, though, it can look nice occasionally, but it depends. I could film you. You'd look good. Your hat would work well. You got clean lines. Yeah. But somebody's got messy hair or anything that's got fine detail, it's going to struggle with. And the key is to make sure you don't make it look too shallow. And you get some okay results. I'm looking forward to seeing the new iPhone because that's got the 4K 25p one, which I'm looking forward to trying. Okay. I think that is the future, though. I think cinematic mode, I think computational video is the future one day, because if they can get it to make it look real, why would you need to have longer lenses on? Why can't you just do it all in...
I'm sure they will get it as time goes on. But how about if you filmed with Filmic Pro?
I don't like Filmic Pro. I find it very awkward to use. And of course there's cinematic mode in it, so you're stuck with just using the normal 4K. And Filmic Pro on the Androids, especially on the Xperia Pro I, works really well. You can turn off sharpening and noise reduction. Can't do it in iOS Filmic Pro, they've locked it. So yes, you're using it, and it looks it's better, better in many ways. You still can't change the processing of the image. It's still too over sharpened. Whereas when I filmed, you need to have some noise reduction because it needs small sensors. But when I used it with Filmic Pro on the Sony, I was, compared to their standard app, I was like, wow, this looks like it's from an RX 100, and like a proper camera, one you can crop in on. So that's the key thing. The problem is the balance between, these aren't made for me. They aren't made for me to be call it a pro. Well, it's not made for me to film with. It's made for consumers. And consumers want things to look sharp and punchy because everything.
They don't know much about things. So
if you gave them, but all that Apple needs to do is put in a pro mode. Yeah. Just a pro mode. It's not hard to do, and then let the camera really do what it's capable of. That will blow people away. Because I see people talking about the 14 Pro saying it's the best camera on a phone ever. I'm like, it's not though. I mean, it isn't. It's still too processed. It's got a lot of things going for it.
But it depends who is talking.
The key thing is when you look at the iPhone and shows you how good it can be, is you take a raw photo and then look at that in Lightroom, take that sharpening off, and you'll see what that sensor's capable of. Then you're like, okay, this is what they need to make their video like, and they can. Yeah. If they're going to put ProRes HQ in, at least take the processing off of it.
I'm sure the following 14 Pro, maybe it could be something else. I'm sure they might not go to 15. They will actually get. I'm sure.
No, it's been years. It's been so many years now since they've just kept the basic app, and they've just kept. It's actually got a bit cluttered now. But they should either make their own Pro app or let people like Filmic Pro access the camera properly. Let them take off the sharpening.
Well, you are the man to tell.
No, I've got no relationship with Apple. And look, it took me forever to get into 360 to turn off their ability to turn off your sharpening. I haven't got DJI to do it fully yet, but they've reduced it. You know, Sony, you've got good relationship with. I'm still getting them, trying to put them basic functions in which they've not done yet.
Yeah,
so
but if
I've got no influence.
Listen, you have got so much influence because the people who follow you.
Now, what you need is somebody like a Peter McKinnon with 20 million followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then you've got influence. It's changed. When I was doing the EX3 review, then, you know, things were different back then. Things were different 10 years ago. It's just now it's all about, you know, you've got to have millions and millions and millions, and people will listen to you. Not necessarily the big companies, but
you
the smaller companies.
Suppose you made a short film with it, and people, I don't know who directed Tangerine and some others. They managed to make people think, but for the stuff you do,
they processed the image. They did. They took away the sharpening. They did a lot of work on it. And other ones, they wanted it to look like a phone. It's all possible. It's just for me. I've got a Fuji in here, which is a lovely Fuji camera. I've got my Sony's, and they're not big cameras. I can't. I'm in a bit of a time because I've got to go.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
I will see. I'm going to come and listen to your lecture.
All right.
All right.